Welcome in to the Redhawk Coaches Show. We are at Wings, etc., home of the Coaches Show. We're over in Jackson today, so if you've never joined us over here in Jackson, you walk in the front entrance and hang a right and come back to the banquet room. We will be here until the stroke of 1 o'clock. We'll be back in the Cape location next week, so that's a little programming reminder. And another reminder, in addition to their award-winning jumbo wings here for dine-in, carry-out, or DoorDash, you can also check out their terrific burger menu. If you've never perused the burger menu at Wings, etc., then we've got something exciting in store for you. The freshly made burgers, they also have wraps, subs, quesadillas, entree salads, and their famous appetizer lineup includes their spicy deep-fried pickle chips and their massive ultimate nachos. Their daily lunch specials start at just $9.49, and of course, they have partnered with DoorDash, and that means you can get the delicious Wings Etc. menu delivered to wherever you are. But the best way to do it is through the Wings Etc. loyalty app. That allows you to get rewards points for all of your orders. It is Wings Etc., home of the Coaches Show. Good food, great times. We'll be talking it over with Coach Tuke coming up. Tristan Smith had a big 100-yard receiving game in the win over the Salukis on Saturday. Tristan Smith going to join us. And Coach Tom Tukowitz here. We got another familiar face in the back of the room that kind of surprised us today.
Yeah, big London Manuel's in the house. And so I don't know if it's official, but he's actually going to join our athletic department. I guess Brady will tell me here if I'm usually
he's giving a thumbs up back there.
Okay, well, normally I don't ask, but so he's going to be full-time in the athletic department as a fundraiser. So I can't imagine a better representative of a student athlete and the impact that the university's had on his life. And he's like the mayor. I mean, he goes out to the country club and, puts on tight shorts and everything else and goes out there, acts like he's a golfer now. So I'm excited. But it is, we talked about this last week, I believe, about the money piece, of how important it is. Things are changing. SIU's athletic budget's around $20 million. Ours is around $15 million. $5 million is a lot of money. Our student athletic fee is $7. Theirs is 4 times, like $30-some a credit hour. And so a lot of the progress that we got to continue to make, our guys like London's got to come alongside and help blow some wind into our sails and make sure that, we have the resources we need to keep competing for championships.
I think Brady could probably speak to this. When I was going to school there, they had about 25,000 enrollment over in Carbondale. He says, yes. They've gone way down the last several years. I think they got a little bit of a bump up. But regardless of what the enrollment is, the attendance at the football game on Saturday was the second highest attended game in that stadium's history. Number one was the first game they ever played there in 2010 against Quincy. SEMO is the third. The very next week, SEMO went over there. They were ranked 5th. Coach Tony Samuel, and they beat them. That's the third highest attended game. Saturday was the second highest attended. The lower bowl seats 12, sold out. General admission where they put them up there on the berm beyond the end zone. So this was a big game for everybody involved. And we were talking this morning on the Sports Huddle. There had to be 1,000 SEMO fans in that stadium.
Yeah, I'm glad you got to that point. That was the best part, is just looking up there and seeing the SEMO fans. And they were into the game. They were loud. You could feel them. And it's good to have those friendlies over there. What a great environment. Having big football games is important, and rivals is a big part of that, but you got to earn the right to do those, and so the success they've had, the success we've had, and, who knows, someday College Game Day maybe come to that. If we can continue on track, and why not? What a great environment it has. We get them here next year, and so proud of that, and just appreciative of all the fans that made the trek over there, and hopefully they were entertained.
I believe Stats Perform Media Poll, it is 13 this week. You've moved up to number 13, leapfrogged SIU, as you should have. The coaches poll, you're number 14. So everybody around the country took notice. I know FCS football is an entity that is pretty active on Twitter, and obviously they follow FCS closely. That was their national game of the week, the Redhawks and the Salukis. So the nation at the FCS level took notice of what you did Saturday.
Yeah, everybody wants to be respected, but at the end of the day, you got to earn respect, and the only way to earn it is to beat good teams, and so we got to continue to do that. And I'm happy for our players that they were able to accomplish the mission and bring the wheel home.
The wheel is here, by the way, and you were concerned after the game. We talked to you on the radio. I don't know if the wheel is going to make it intact to the coaches show on Monday. It made it intact.
I based on some of the pictures going around the internet, it made its way through Jackson and Cape well represented. But just what makes it cool and special. After the game, Vargas gave the wheel to the team, which was pretty cool, and then Norman and Paxton. So just fun times, man.
I think in 2022 there needed to be some repairs on the wheel. Didn't the spoke get broken out after the celebration?
Yeah, Nick and I talked about it, and we're just going to let it be a part of the tradition.
Okay.
The spokes, if I ever die, it's in my bottom right-hand slide-out deal if you're ever looking for it. They broke it, and I was like, man, what should I do? And I was just like, let them have some fun with it. And I know they had fun with it last year at our expense, and so I'm glad that we're able to kind of right it.
I remember at Houck Stadium after they won the game, their players sprinted to the wheel. That wasn't the case this year. Brady Barkey walked the wheel out onto the football stadium field. And the one thing I noticed after the handshake between you and Nick Hill, you were telling all your players, go over and salute the fans.
Yeah.
I noticed that right away.
Yeah, go over and celebrate with them. So that was just a cool moment to enjoy that victory with everybody that came.
All right, the final score, 38-21. There was a lot of drama in that game, even though you say, people that didn't watch the game, it's a 17-point win. You coasted home. No, that wasn't the case. SIU, you took a 13-2 lead. They had come back and taken the lead in the football game. So there was some adversity. You did not score a touchdown from the 2-minute mark of the first quarter until almost the 2-minute mark of the third quarter. That's when SIU made its move. But then Paxton DeLaurent just continues to show. Literally, he is among the very best quarterbacks in this country at FCS football. He'd probably, he'd start for 1 million FBS squads, but he continues to show he is an elite quarterback.
Yeah, and the thing I'm the happiest about was a lot of those seniors. A lot of those seniors that were good players last year, we didn't, we were 4-7, and the way we played, none of us liked. And so for them to kind of get us back on track says a lot about them. Obviously, Norman and Gig and Paxton and all those guys are who I'm talking about. And, the greatest success strategy of all mankind is caring. It doesn't matter what it is. If you'll care more, it'll get better. You want to lose weight, care more about it. You want a better relationship with your wife, care more about it. And we have as good we care. We have great relationships with each other, and we care about the mission. Like you could just tell, and this is subjective, but I felt like our sideline cared more about it in that game. And it's hard to get trying to get 105 people to all chase a common goal is just really tough, especially nowadays. That's not it's so countercultural that it takes a lot. And I think guys have a hard time with it too. We don't do great jobs with relationships as it is. So these guys have really put a lot of work in the off season to develop these relationships, and you can just tell they're not going to be denied. Now, can we keep it going? Because we got different problems, right? We got all the sugar-coated lies, all the things that you'll be saying, all the media going to be saying. And at the end of the day, if your preparation starts with your opponent's jersey, there it is. That's how you get your ass beat. It's got to be about a standard of preparation. Like, this is the standard that SEMO prepares on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then can we repeat it 8 weeks? I don't know. You know, be interesting. It's really hard to do. It's never been done. And so I can't wait to see. I think this game's an interesting game. Like, how do we go out this week after playing really well and having a big win? And then you got to, you have to understand we're going to be everybody's Super Bowl. Everybody's going to turn their season around on our game, and you're going to get everybody's best. And winning's hard. You have to respect every single opponent. No, it doesn't matter. Division I football, winning those games are so hard that if you don't show up, you only get so many windows in your life. How many championship windows are open in your life? I've been doing this for 31 years, and I've been blessed. I think I've had, 10 or 15. But player-wise, you never know when this window's going to open. And so you got to take advantage. You have to sacrifice the party, and you have to sacrifice your body. I mean, there's just so many things that you got to be willing to sacrifice for the mission. And, I just feel like if we can lock in and rinse and repeat, I think it's possible.
So you talk about caring and you talk about relationships, player to player, man to man on a football team. How much more of a challenge is it now as a head coach when we have become a texting society? Not as many, physical conversations. Everybody's communicating through text messages. That's not what you want. That seems like more of a challenge for a coach of a team in this day and age in 2024.
You just have to have strategy. Like when I played, everybody showed up to practice early. You know why? To see what everybody did last night. But now you already know. It's on everybody's storyline, right? You show up if you go to my practice, you show up, everybody's in their locker and they're doing this. So what you have to do is you have to have strategy. We have meals that are no phone meals. And then we ask questions, and then we get them around, get them to hang out with each other. But you have to really be intentional because human DNA and the culture will lead everybody apart. So we got to come in there with strategy to get them back together. And you gotta know something about it. When you know something about me, not everybody knows, and vice versa. That's a connection, right? Well, you do it on 105 times and all that, it gets pretty powerful. But also, when you don't have it, it is bad. I mean, you see it on any sideline, like a touchdown or something bad happens, man, it just disintegrates. The whole thing's just hard to even watch. And football's different because it's so big that, man, when you have those kind of connections, you literally can move mountains. And if you don't, you can't even get out of the front door. I mean, it's just different. And I think it's just the numbers.
So what it sounds to me like, it's similar to what I see. I'm just going to use the SEMO baseball program as an example. I travel with them for road trips. They will pull in on the road trip. Okay, hey, we're stopping at the Wings, etc. So everybody, before they get off the bus, coach stands up. No hats, no phones, guys. Let's go eat. That's something that you believe in as well.
Yeah. You just got to make sure that you value relationships and you set it up so they really connect, and they want that. No matter what they say, we crave community, right? As human beings, we're not built or created to be alone. We're created to be in community, and so you just got to make sure that you design an environment that creates that.
So you've dropped the 105 number a couple of times. When you go play a road game, you are not packing 105 players into the 3 or 4 buses that you are taking to wherever your destination is. With the exception of Saturday, Everybody went over there.
Yeah, it took the whole team. number one was the energy that you wanted on the sidelines. That you knew they were going to have a lot of crowds, so I brought them for that. And then two, I just want to make sure they appreciate the value of this game. Right? So even if you're not playing, you understand what that means to our program and that means to their fan base, so that the baton gets passed to the next generation, that you're ready to go. Now, based on some of the celebration and the shenanigans that were going on, it may be one and done. I may not bring 105 guys again, but it worked out this weekend.
Some hijinks, according to the coach. So you take the drive in the first quarter, 7 plays, 34 yards. Kyron Downing had never caught a touchdown pass as a Red Hawk, and he does 12 yards from Paxton to Laurent, and you get on the board.
Yeah, no, that was a great way to start the game. Obviously, there's a tremendous amount of energy in there. We had pretty good field position. I don't know what they were, maybe 1 of 4 on fourth down. They went for it quite a bit, didn't get it. Our kicking game, we had some nice plays, and then they had some penalties on their kicking game. So I don't know what the field position actual stat was, but that was a factor in the game.
You went 34 yards on that particular drive.
Yeah, I think that was the punt return.
Yeah.
And so all of that stuff adds up, and so that's why, it's a true team win. That punt block had as much to do with that score as or the punt return as the throw and catch.
And I'll take full responsibility for the play after the touchdown, because on the radio broadcast, DC Pippen is 96 for 97 in PATs in his career. They block it, run it back for 2, so I apologize for the announcer jinx. It's a very real entity sometimes.
It is not. And we don't believe in jinx. We don't believe in throwing coins in fountains. We believe in having great preparation and things like that. And that was a lack of preparation. And so they schemed us. Obviously, we had a scheme error that was, the last 3 games that we didn't catch. And so they did a good job. And I thought he was going to get him at the end.
He almost did.
Yeah.
Dove. I think he actually touched his feet when he dove, but he just...
And then they gave him a touchdown and started talking. I was like, hey,
right.
Well, I'm about to storm the stands if they give him 6.
On the scoreboard, they put 6
I know.
on there.
I was like, hey, we're all fighting at this point. Like, I'm willing to not let the next play happen if that doesn't get adjusted.
So then you start your next drive from pretty average field position. You started from the 20. You go 7 plays, 80 yards, 3 minutes, 34 seconds, and Paxton to Laurent hits Dorian Anderson for a touchdown. And how about the catch by Anderson on the juggle, the bobble, somehow stayed with it and got a foot down in bounds?
No, I think if he was here, you would appreciate just how hard it is when you're 6'7" to have that kind of touch and that toe tap thing, that how rare that is, that he runs routes and has the athleticism of a 180-pound 6-footer, but he's actually 6'7", 200. So it really makes him tough to defend, man.
So I'll ask you this. In this game, you got Dorian Anderson, 8 catches, Tristan Smith, 7, and for 109 yards, 2 TDs for Dorian Anderson. Mitchell Sellers, another touchdown, 6 catches. Peyton Brown caught a couple out of the backfield. Donnie Sellers played, did not have a catch, but he's made some catches for you. Even though you've got a receiver in the NFL and Ryan Flournoy and DeMaurier Vick, who was outstanding, is this a deeper receiving room than you even had on last year's team, and you had an NFL receiver in there?
I mean, I don't have enough energy to think about questions like that.
Media members, we think about that kind of stuff.
So, I mean, I think, those guys need to appreciate Paxton, and I think they need to appreciate the O-line. It's all of it. but certainly feel like we should be able to throw the football against everybody we play. We have what it takes to be good. We just got to be consistent.
All right, and when talking about the offensive line, we'll talk about how they open things up for a 100-yard rusher in a moment. But early in that game, on those 2 drives with Paxton, he had a clean pocket. I mean a clean pocket. He was not running for his life. They weren't sacking him on a regular basis. I thought the O-line was terrific.
Yeah, they did a nice job and have for a while here. Even I think they might have had a sack on that drive. Probably was just held on to it a little long. So very consistent.
So you take the lead in the football game. They had briefly taken a 21-16 lead. Then Paxton leads a 4-play, 71-yard drive. He hits Dorian Anderson for the second touchdown for Dorian, third of the night for Paxton to Laurent. You go for 2. He throws a ball, guys in his face. He threw it toward the goal line in traffic, and Tristan Smith went up and high-pointed that ball and came down, and you're up 24-21. It was a great play on both ends, and then we see DeLaurent on the sideline. Trainers are with him. They lay him down on his chest on the training table. They're working on his left shoulder, and we know that's the shoulder he injured in the North Alabama game. And then you're getting reports that, it's his left shoulder. I'm sure you didn't know what the extent of the injury was. What's going through your mind right there? You just took the lead in the game.
Yeah, he basically separated his shoulder, and they had a hard time putting it back in. When it comes out, they got to put it back in. Then they were able to get it back in, and, it goes back to that first piece that he wasn't – if he was – breathing and awake, he was going to be in that game. There's nobody that's going to stop him from trying to help his teammates accomplish the mission. And doctors did a great job and got him back in there. He ran out there and didn't have the play even. We had already signaled the play. He ran out there, asked Carter, hey, what's the play? And then went out and had a big-time drive. And so it's an impressive, be a part of his legacy, but he certainly has my respect and one of the all-time great moments. And
so for those who don't know, Carter Hensley actually came out while they're working on him on the training table and ran a play. I mean, it was a handoff. They ran a play, and then, Rick and I are talking about, okay, is the game plan going to be adjusted here? You don't have DeLaurent in there. You've got a 3-point lead. And here comes number 10 running back onto the field.
Yeah, and there was a series in there, and there was a media timeout, so it's kind of nice that it got strung out a little bit.
And so then he puts together another fantastic drive. It ends up going 8 plays, 46 yards. And when he comes into the game, there were a couple of plays until the end of the game where he took off and ran in big spots to get you first downs. If he doesn't run for the first down, you got to give the ball back to SIU. And here he goes, bad shoulder, and he going down the field.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It was schematically, that was what we should do. It was just whether you should do it or not. But that was the drive. Because if you're going to pop it in there, the game's over. You're going to get it to 3 scores, and now you feel really, really good at it. And so Jeremy, called some great plays. But even on those, he did a good job of, not trying too hard, landing well, stuff like that to just, keep his body safe a little bit.
All right, let's talk a little bit about your defense, Coach, because pull that down just a little bit. Talk about your defense because they were terrific in the first half, obviously. And then in the fourth quarter, sellout crowd, tight game, you shut them out in the fourth quarter in their stadium in a big game, the war for the wheel. They could not score on your defense. Even at the end, when you had the game won, your team still wouldn't. They're down there at the 2-yard line. They run 3 plays, and they don't get in the end zone.
Yeah, no. I mean, first of all, I'm glad we finished that way because we haven't finished well on defense, right, last year. And so very happy that they got to shut them out in the fourth. The things that stood out to me was we did well against the run. They've ran the ball well all year long, and so our defense did a nice job stopping the run. And then we rushed the passer well. I don't know how many sacks we had, but we had a couple hits there that I promise you their quarterback He had 3 sacks, and we had a couple other hits that I promise you the quarterback today is feeling. I mean, we got in there pretty good, and so that's going to be huge, to be able to have that kind of pass rush to affect it, especially with all the injuries that we're having right now.
And then the offensive line in the UT Martin game, in regulation time, you handed the football to a running back 3 times in the game. Then you come to this game, and you're without your starting running back, Brandon Epton, because of the auto accident, and you've got a freshman in there. You know he's got talent. He showed it in the game against North Alabama. Peyton Brown, 18 carries, 124 yards. He's the OVC Freshman of the Week this week. Touchdown run to really just salt the game away. He had that 52-yard bruising run, and if you don't get the first down on that particular run, you're going to have to give the ball back to the Salukis. That was such a pivotal, I thought, momentum-changing run by Peyton Brown. How about the game for the freshman? And I've seen enough football. He's a little different. Arm tackles, it's not going to happen against this kid.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I think we have been sold on his running ability for a while. And so had a nice game that way. I think we were more excited. He hasn't caught the ball well in practices and stuff like that. And, he had 2 really, really nice catch runs. And then his protection. I mean, one of the touchdowns, they bring the corner over and he goes and that's a tough thing because you're not normally looking for a corner. And I appreciate what he did when the ball wasn't in his hands also. For a freshman, he's certainly above where you think they should be, and happy for him and can't wait to continue to watch him.
Boy, and then as you mentioned with special teams, Darrell Smith had that 35-yard return. Kalani Riddick with a big punt return. I mean, special teams showed up in this game.
Yeah, no doubt. Had that nice. Was it the field goal right before half? I feel like that was really critical because I believe they scored and got it to maybe 12.
It was a 43-yard kick with 6 seconds left. It was a 13-12 game.
Yeah. And, we got our timeouts to save the clock to give us enough time, and then he goes out there and makes that kick. That was a huge kick, and it got it to 3 scores in the end. So all the specialists are doing a good job. We're getting thinner and thinner on special teams units. All these injuries really are depleting a lot of the units, and so we're really trying to figure that out this week.
You've got a really good punter, and he only had to punt 2 times in the football game.
Yeah, did a nice job, no return yards, did what his team needed him to do.
All right. I know you don't expound and expand on injuries much, but one thing you did say in our post-game radio interview, this roster is as banged up as I can remember since I've been the head coach.
Yeah. I don't know, what's going on and why it's happened, but it is what it is. And, I couldn't sleep last night because you're just trying to figure it out. But one lesson I really learned from last year is it takes what it takes. There's a standard of preparation to play well, and we're not changing. Either our team can stay healthy enough to get it done or not. But we're not going to change. We're going to go out and we're going to prepare for Northwestern State like we have the rest of these, and we're going to do what it takes, and we'll try to figure it out. Our medical staff's got to do their job, and our players have got to buy into the treatments and all the type of things, and it just is what it is. And hopefully we won't let that cost us,
So you go into the game against a defense that is second in the nation in sacks, and you're without your starting right tackle because he's injured. And then you go into the game against a team that has been running the football, and Stephen Lewis, your nose guard. I mean, your big guy with 43 Division I games under his belt. He's unavailable. I mean, there were some things that you battled through in that particular football game.
Yeah.
I mean, those are your tight end. He probably got hurt because he's in motion every freaking play. Danny Joyner, he's on crutches on the sideline, a big part of what you do on offense. I mean, just looking at we mentioned you didn't have your starting running back in the game, and I'm sure there were some other guys that I don't know about, just by, getting the binoculars and looking down on the field. So, boy, that had to be a challenge, and I know you're always concerned before any football game, but those are key guys: right tackle, nose guard, I mean, the tight end, with what you do in terms of motion for your offense.
Yeah, and one thing you don't think about is how it affects your leadership. Danny and Steve's two of our top leaders. And so them not being out in the huddle, them not being out there is a concern too, because a lot of the leadership comes from them also. And they did a good job on the sideline, but, it's a great opportunity for some of these young guys, and they're on scholarship, and they got to try to, expedite their growth and learn, and their teammates need them.
Have you ever been around? It may not be a fair question. Is Paxton DeLaurent as good a quarterback as you have ever been around while you've been a coach?
I don't compare.
I'm not going to ask the best, but I mean, is he as good as?
I mean, he's awesome. He can really sling it. I've only had one other quarterback drafted since I've been coach. I think this is my 31st year. I've only had one quarterback drafted that I was a part of, and he's better than him as far as what the NFL necessarily. Now, at the end of the day, I judge quarterbacks by championships, because it's not just throwing and catching. There's a lot to it.
All right. The things that the fans don't necessarily see with Paxton DeLaurent, he's got to do reads. He's got to be able to know protections. He's got to be able to, adjust people on the fly. He's got to know where to go with the ball. He's got to be able to see, okay, I see what that safety is trying to do right here. We know he's 6'5", 220. We know he's got a rocket arm. We know he's pretty accurate. What about the things, the intangibles, that maybe the fans don't physically see with Paxton DeLaurent?
I think just a lot of there's a lot of route changes. He'll get up there and look and change the route concepts. They brought a corner, and Paxton saw it before the snap. He said, hey, he's coming, and no one moved, and he saw the safety was slid over farther than they kind of gave it away. But most coaches would see it, but not, players. So he's just a vet, man. He's an ultimate competitor too. I think is really important at quarterback. There's just a lot of those things are there. His leadership has gotten even better. Not that he was a terrible leader, but he needed to grow a little bit. It's different leading grown men, and certainly if he gets in the NFL, these are things that he'll have to continue to work on. And so I'm very thankful of, that he allowed himself to grow there a little bit.
How much do you think it helped in the offseason? He was invited to the Peyton Manning leadership camp. How much did that help him?
No, it helped his confidence. He knew he belonged. I think you get to see how those men interact, how they command a room, how they do the little things so well, and so that was a great life moment for him, but also I think helped us this year.
How about the coaching job that Ricky Kuhn has done for this defense? Because there were times last year that I know Coach Kuhn, because I've talked to him, just disappointed that some plays weren't made late in particular football games. How about the fact that Coach Kuhn has had a lot of big defensive performances so far in this season?
Yeah, him and the staff's done a good job. People don't realize, we have 4 new coaches.
How much of a challenge is that?
That's a big challenge. It's not as big as if you lose your coordinator, because everything's in play as far as the recruiting models and stuff like that. But to get them all on the same page, to build the trust with the players, all of those things, there's a lot there. And I remember the first week in spring, I think our offense threw for 700. Man, it was looking a little rough, and they just kept coaching their guys, kept getting them better, and if we weren't so banged up, I think we'd be pretty dominant. To be honest, like there's some DBs out there that are not out there that I think are, all conference performers.
So I don't know if it was a spring game because I was with baseball, but it was one of your live scrimmages. And now this is an offense that put up 45 on UT Martin, 38 on SIU, where your offense did not score against your defense.
Yeah. I don't know how many snaps it was. I think it might have been like 72 snaps and 0 points. You haven't played live competition, but as a coach, you're thinking, are we good on defense or are we struggling bad on offense, And I think we had quite a few turnovers too. And so, it's just part of the process. There's every single year you got to get better at things. You got to continue to just hammer away at your issues until you improve enough things that you start getting the results you want.
You didn't force turnovers in the football game, but you scored 38 points, and you could have scored more. You had a pick six. I mean, it was a pick six. He just didn't catch the ball. Yeah. But
I thought they did a good job with their decision making. I mean, I thought we might get some takeaways, and I think that quarterback did a nice job. Never put the ball in jeopardy. All the ball carries had nice ball security, so they did a good job.
How about with the amount of times a freshman is running the ball for you and the amount of times just physically that you throw the ball, that Paxton and the fumbles aren't there, and they're just, I don't want to jinx it, but he just takes care of the football. Paxton DeLaurent. He threw 7 times in that UT Martin game, and it's hard to put it up that many times and not have something go wrong.
Yeah, it's a core value. You have to value the football over everything. Over a 10 yards, over a touchdown. Like, there's nothing more important than a football. When you have the football in your hand, you have every hopes and dreams of every fan, every player, every coach. And so you have to do a great job, and it's habits. If you run around with bad ball security, it's just a matter of time before they're going to turn you over. And so, you got to coach them. And sometimes when they don't fumble, they don't want to listen. I'm good. And then all of a sudden it happens, but it was there all along. And either we didn't have the accountability we needed, or we should have played somebody else.
I think it was the first half. Nothing was there in the passing game, and the middle of the field's wide open, and DeLaurent takes off running. And I know I said on the broadcast, slide, big fella. When you see him running down the field on that particular play, what's going through your mind? Slide, big fella?
Yeah, I think we're past that.
Okay.
Yeah, he's grown that way too. That he's ready to live to fight another down. And so, but being mobile and extending the plays and moving the chains are what great ones can do. So you got to take advantage of your feet, but don't let that cost you.
All right, we're going to talk to Tristan Smith, Coach. Tell us about how you came to know about Tristan Smith. It's Hutchinson Community College. You're a Kansas guy. Yeah. You've had a long relationship with Hutchinson, I'm sure dating back to your SIU days.
Yeah.
I think SIU was recruiting Willie Ponder pretty hard.
Yep.
And he ended up coming, Tim Billings got him to come. Tim Billings, who was at the game on Saturday, by the way. Tell us about how you heard about Tristan Smith.
Yeah, we were on him pretty early. They have a lot of great players. He didn't have the numbers that his talent would or he should have had. He's a really talented guy, but he didn't have the numbers out of junior college. Their quarterback was average, and they had a kid, maybe signed with Alabama, if I remember right. There were some really good players there also. But we knew all along that we loved him. He didn't love us. He's kind of like my wife, Lena. All right. And so when I asked my wife to marry me, she changed the subject. Didn't even give me an answer.
Ouch.
But she came back, 25 years later, she seems pretty happy. So it's kind of like Tristan. So Tristan, on signing date, was going to sign that didn't sign. And he didn't sign until like 48 hours later, if I remember right. So when his first practice, I ripped him pretty good just because he hurt my feelings. But now he seems like he loves SEMO. He's got strong relationships, and he could be as good as he wants to be. He's talented, but talent's not enough. If talent's here and you want to go here to get their skill, and so can he buy into the weight room? Can he buy into all the physical things that it's going to take? If you want to play in the NFL and you want to be a man, you have to understand what that's going to look like. But I think he's going to do it. He wants to be great, and I can't wait to just see what life brings his way.
And, you got to remember, he got a slower start than some of the other guys. He was hurt.
Out.
He was hurt for the first 2 games. He didn't even get to play.
Right. And we've been working on him how to get tackled. He seems to fall really hard every time he gets tackled. And so, again, we're just trying to develop him. And, he's got he's kind of like our team, will this success now all of a sudden he walks out to practice and think he's invented football, or will he get a taste of what he could do and let that propel his preparation and go all in even more,
So before the game, I know on ESPN Plus, the color broadcaster for ESPN Plus is Kerry Martin. He came over and talked to me before the game because I've known him since my second ever radio job in sports was broadcasting the Carterville Lions football team in 1996. Kerry Martin led them to the state championship.
Great coach.
In 96. So we had a relationship. And one of the things he said to me when he came over, he's like, 6'5", 6'7", 6'4", 6'5". These receivers are huge.
Yeah.
I'm sure you hear that from – you've got some big receivers, and he's one of them.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. Very thankful.
All right, Coach, we will talk with Tristan Smith when we come back from this timeout. Don't forget, it's a 3 o'clock kickoff on Saturday against the Demons from Northwestern State out of the Southland Conference. Tristan Smith going to join us when we come back. Redhawks Coaches Show from Wings in Jackson on SEMO ESPN. It's the Redhawks Coaches Show from Wings Etc. in Jackson. And did you know that they have over 70 menu items at Wings that are not their award-winning jumbo wings? And that includes their burger menu, as we mentioned. And that entire menu, you can view it on their website. You can order online. You can come in and pick it up. Or, of course, the atmosphere at Wings Etc. You can watch all the big games, including we've got 2 Monday night football games tonight. You can watch them in high definition right here at Wings, and if you'd like to get it delivered as maybe you're at a party or you're going to have your own party to watch the big game, you can have it delivered. They have partnered with DoorDash, and the easiest way to do it is just order it on your Wings Etc. loyalty app, where you get points for every purchase that you make, and including better pricing than you get through DoorDash. That's the Wings Etc. loyalty app. Let's talk it over with Tristan Smith, Redhawks wide receiver. You were saying that you were enjoying some wings a little earlier.
Yes, sir.
All right, give us the details.
I got a 10-piece bone-in traditional. I'm pretty basic, so I get the same thing every time. So just get those. And
they got about 35 flavors, sauce. What are we going with?
Mild.
Just
time.
Straight mild.
Mild.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yes, sir.
All right. You are from LaGrange, Georgia.
Yes, sir.
Tell us about LaGrange, Georgia. Where's that at?
LaGrange, Georgia. It's about 45 minutes from Atlanta. It's a small town. It's about 3 high schools in the area. I went to LaGrange High School. I was under-recruited when I was in senior, so I didn't really have the offers, coming out of high school and stuff, so I had to go the junior college route. So, yeah.
All right, so you're not a big Hulk like Mitchell Sellers is. We've had Mitchell on the show, and he's a receiver. Although he's been tight end, he did a little offensive line when he was at Southern Miss. Okay, what did you weigh soaking wet your senior year of high school?
I think they probably boosted it a little bit, but I weighted like 180 pounds.
180.
Yes,
okay.
sir.
So you think that was legit, 180?
Yes, sir.
All right, you're 6'5". What are you checking in at now?
205.
205. I mean, it's a process, especially when you're thin and you have that fast metabolism. How big of a process is it to put weight on?
It's a big process. I mean, getting the calories I need, eating the things I need to eat every day, and staying consistent with it, and being very consistent, eating the same thing. You know, making sure I get my daily nutrients and stuff, so I can make weight, because I don't like missing weight.
Now, when you say make weight, tell us what kind of system they've got you on.
You go in, you get on the scale, and they write your weight down. And if I'm off my weight, I get kind of scared, because I might be on the big board in a team meeting, so I get kind of scared. So I might go eat some more food so I can make my weight.
So the bottom line is you don't want to be on the big board.
You don't want to be on the big board.
All right. So when you were at Hutchinson Community College, how much of a nutrition program did they have there? And tell us about the nutrition program at SEMO. Division I nutrition program is no joke, right?
No joke. It's a big difference. JUCO, they weren't really heavy on, like, they wanted you to make your weight. You know, they wanted you to get heavy and get bigger and get stronger, but at SEMO you got to make weight. You got to, or you're gonna get in trouble. So I don't like getting in trouble. So.
All right, what are some of your favorite high calorie things that you need to eat on a fairly daily basis? Some of your favorites.
I eat a lot of Alfredo, a lot of noodles, a lot of rice, a lot of steak, a lot of chicken. I cook a lot of chicken tacos. I cook them almost every day. I know my roommates get probably tired of me cooking those. I cook those a lot. Broccoli, just things like, I drink a lot of milk, eat a lot of eggs.
I'm a milk guy. I'm with you.
Yes, sir. I really eat anything and everything every day. So,
was there ever a time where you get frustrated? Man, I've been eating like crazy, and I get on the scale and nothing.
Yes, sir. I mean, it be days like I eat like 4 or 5 meals a day, and I get on the scale and it's the same weight, and I be frustrated. So. Just eat more. Just hopefully I gain some more weight.
All right, 100-yard receiving game. It was 7 catches for 109, including a long of 43. What was it like playing in that football game?
It was great. Like, I knew going into SIU was going to be a big game. I mean, in the spring, I got here in the spring, and we was watching SIU film in the spring, so I knew this was a big game, and I knew how it meant to my teammates and the coaches. So going into this game, like, I was nervous. I was kind of nervous. I didn't want to show it in front of my teammates, you know, but I was a little nervous, and we went out there and played very good, so I'm glad we came out on top.
How frustrating was it for you? You work so hard. It's all the pasta and rice and chicken and steak, and then they play the first 2 games and you can't play.
It was hard. I mean, I've never been hurt in my life and never had to miss a game in my life, so I had to go through that process, you know, but I didn't go through it alone. Like I said, my teammates and my coaches, they were there with me every step of the way. But just going out there and watching from a spectator's point of view, just watching my teammates play and stuff, it was really exciting, and I was ready to get back out there with them. So just watching them perform, it just made me happy, made me excited, made me want to get back and push even harder through my rehab and stuff so I can play with them.
All right, so among your 7 catches on Saturday in Carbondale, one was on SEMO's sideline where you had to jump and toe tap it. How often do you guys work on the toe tapping? I mean, now, and you know, college, you only have to get 1 foot down, but those are drills that you guys work on, right? Relentlessly?
Yes, sir. We work on those every day with Coach Dez. I mean, in college, I know you got to get 1 foot down, but he really harp on getting 2 feet in bounds. You know, those are, we have a saying, those are good on Sundays, you know. So we do those drills every day. We after practice, Coach Dez will throw us the ball in the back of the end zone, and we'll just hop on the ball and try to get both our feet down.
All right, you played at a very good junior college. Hutchinson has produced a lot of tremendous athletes, a lot of good players, but when you come to a Division I program like this, how different is the coaching? How different is the drills that you do, the toe tap drills, all of that?
Yes, sir. it's more fundamental at the D1 level. Like, it's more, do this right. Hey, we're gonna work on our feet right here. It's more drills. It's more coaches there that can help you and show you what to do right. Just a lot of different drills that we're doing here. And I feel like that can help me work on my game, being that I am 6'5". But I mean, I like catching jump balls, but I also want to have quick feet. So, and I feel like Coach Des helps us as a receiver core a lot with the quick feet. I mean, we work on ball security heavy a lot. We work on not fumbling the ball, contested catches with the DBs. So I feel like those drills translate from practice to the game.
Boy, you also have to know. When was the last time you went up against a 6'5" cornerback? I don't even think they exist. So you've got a physical advantage, at least in that respect, right?
Yes, sir. I mean, I like, as a receiver, I like going against taller corners because their hips are not like my hips. I feel like I have very good hips, and just going up against like a 6'2", 6'3" cornerback, I have an advantage to run past them off my releases and my feet.
All right, that 2-point conversion that you caught, man, I mean, it was right at the goal line. You were just barely across the goal line, and there was a lot of congestion, a lot of traffic. Take us through that, because you needed all 6'5" to catch that ball thrown by Paxton.
Yes, sir. I mean, I feel like it was all Paxton. I didn't even know he was throwing me the ball until I seen the ball in the air. I mean, he just made a play. He threw it up and gave me a chance. He trusted me. And I had him catch the ball. I wanted to win the game, and I know catching that ball right there will put us up a couple more points. So I give credit to Paxton for throwing it to me and giving me a chance.
All right, at 6'5", I'm sure you get the question a lot, or have gotten the question, man, you play basketball at 6'5"? And the answer is yes. You were a high school basketball player.
Yes, sir. Since I got here in January, everybody's been asking me, did I play basketball? And I'm like, no, I play football. I'm a football player. I love football. But in high school, I played basketball. I was a little bit of a center, power forward. You know, my high school basketball coach, he wouldn't let me shoot threes. Like, every time I shoot a three, he'll take me out the game. So in high school, I just catch the basketball and just try to dunk it and grab rebounds and try to get a double-double off points and rebounds.
Tell me about the first time you remember getting your first dunk.
Oh, man.
I mean, even if it came in practice, first time you knew, man, I can dunk now.
That's when I knew I was growing, because I wasn't always 6'5", you know. Going into 11th grade, I was like about 6 foot, 6'1", and I didn't play varsity basketball. And then my basketball coach, he asked me to come practice with the team, and I went and practiced with the team. And after practice, I was trying to impress my coach. Like, I was trying to make the varsity team, so I tried to dunk, and I jumped, and I dunked it. And I was amazed, but I didn't really show it. I was kind of happy, but I didn't show it.
You acted like, I dunk all
do
the
this
time.
every day. I do this every day, but it was my first time, and I made the team. So I don't know if it was because of that or he just liked me. I don't know, but that was my first time dunking.
All right, is it more fun to score a touchdown or give someone a facial in basketball and dunk on them?
It's more fun to catch on top of a cornerback and score a touchdown. You can get 2 and 1 right there.
All right. What was your best moment as a basketball player?
My best moment as a basketball player, I would probably say playing with one of my teammates. He was a point guard, and my other teammate, he was a shooting guard. And I would say playing with those two, like my best friends, that was the best times. Every game was a good game, just being around them and playing with them in high school.
All right. One of SEMO's greatest ever wide receivers is a guy named Willie Ponder. He played at Hutchinson Community College. Did you ever hear about him when you were at Hutch?
No, sir.
Okay. We just wanted to check that out. Was there trash talking? I mean, were the Salukis trash talking? What was it like? What was the atmosphere down there on the field? Because this is a rivalry game, man.
I mean, it's crazy that you say that, because I don't feel like the players were talking trash, but off the field, in the stands, it was more so the fans and the people in the stands talking more trash. But the football players, they were just being physical. They were just working. So I think it was more off the field than on the field trash talk.
Well, I always think that the greatest trash talking word that you can ever use is scoreboard.
Yeah, just point at it. But
after that Peyton Brown touchdown, which totally iced the football game, I know Zach Gigg was walking off the field and he was waving. He was waving to the fans because you guys were probably getting it during the game.
Yes, sir. I mean, when we were up and I knew we were going to win, I still don't like trash talking. I don't like pointing at the scoreboard. I mean, there were more points we could have put on the scoreboard, but I don't really trash talk I just want to play the game and win. So,
how cool was it to see how many Red Hawk fans were there and on your sideline?
It was unbelievable. Like, I look into the stands and I see more red on this side than the Saluki colors. So just having that come to the game with us just shows the support we have for the Red Hawk football team.
How long of a journey is it for your family to come see you play?
Oh, my mom. I love my mom, so just watching her be there and just watch me play and stuff, it just give me an extra motivation. Like, it gives me extra motivation to go out and perform at the highest level. So just watching my family and stuff, like watching them watch me play the game, it fuels me. Yes, sir.
How good is it? How good is your quarterback, Paxton DeLauren?
He's like the best quarterback I done played with ever. So I only play with 3 quarterbacks, and I would say Paxton is one of the best. Like, he makes every read. He does the extra stuff. So, I mean, in the summertime, we was going to his house. He'll get us some pizza, just be the receivers in Paxton. And we was watching film on North Alabama, SIU, UT Martin, our first 4 games. And he just read coverages like no quarterback I ever seen read coverage. Like, he would tell me, get to this spot, you're going to be open if you get here, or if the safety is over top and you see the corners right there, he's blitzing. Like, he just knew how to read coverages very well, and he throws very catchable balls. So just playing with him, I think he's probably one of the best quarterbacks I ever played with.
All right, big game on Saturday, 3 o'clock, family weekend. You gonna have some family here?
No, sir. My family, they're going to be watching online. But
okay.
I have my SEMO family, so they're going to be there with me, all my SEMO friends and family. So,
fantastic. You had a great game against SIU. We hope you stay healthy for the rest of the season, and we wish you the best of luck. Thanks so much for your time. We appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Tristan Smith. Coach Tuke, back to wrap it up. Talk about the Red Hawks' opponent coming up, Northwestern State, and that will be on Saturday at 3 o'clock. Red Hawks Coaches Show at Wings on SEMO ESPN. Etc. in Jackson, and don't forget, we'll be over in the Cape Girardeau location next week as the Red Hawks get ready for Northwestern State. Coach, this is a team out of the Southland Conference. Very unique circumstance and tough circumstance they went through last year. They had one of the members of their team get shot and killed at an off-campus apartment complex. Didn't have anything to, I mean, as far as I know, they still have not caught the individual, but obviously that was devastating. They canceled the rest of the season. I think the final 4 games, the coach stepped away. They've got a new coach. They've got a new roster. Pedraza, one of your terrific linebackers. We
have 2 players from there. Yeah, Tyler and JP are both from there, and so they'll have some little bit of knowledge. But we also played them. What was that, 2 years ago?
Right.
And so yeah, quality opponent. They're still playing hard. You know, they've taken it on the chin a little bit, 0-4, I think. But you can tell that they're well coached. They still got the culture and all that. Like when you watch the film. It's you appreciate how they're coached right now.
Last year when you played Central Arkansas, that star running back that they have at Central Arkansas, he transferred from Northwestern State. That kind of tells you that they've brought in some talent there.
Yeah, no doubt. So we got to be ready. Hopefully we got a great crowd. Really looking for family weekend and got a great crowd today. I see Mrs. Hansa in the crowd, so damn, we're kicking tail, but she actually came in for Hansa's 50th birthday.
Wow.
Yeah, getting older, man. Big Hansa, and so just so many people do so many things that people have no idea about, and it oftentimes goes unnoticed and unappreciated. So all of the athletic department staff, man, just really appreciate everything they do.
Yeah, and Hansa came from SIU. I was telling him, Coach Billings was at that game, and the first year Coach Billings was here, his first game against SIU, we come over here, go over to Carbondale, and they still had old McAndrew Stadium, that old rickety trailer that they called a press box, and SEMO was down 31-0 in that game. It's a drizzly rain. SEMO's getting blown out. They score this touchdown right before halftime. SIU never scored again, and SEMO beat them 34-31, and that was Coach Billings' first game against SIU. So, they've had a history. This program's had a history of some pretty big wins in that stadium.
Yeah, no doubt. Thankful for the rivalry. Thankful for Nick Hill. He's a good man. I'd love for my son. I don't have one, but if I had a son, I'd love for him to be coached by him. So we have a lot of. It's great that it's a rival, that it's not nasty and like getting JUCO out there. At least we respect each other. Program-wise.
Since it was such a big emotional game, I mean, everybody had to leave it on the field. Are you a little bit happy that it's a non-conference game this week versus this is Eastern Illinois week where you're going to Charleston? I mean, I'm not saying that it's different level of competition, anything like that, but would you rather not have a conference game after an emotional win like that?
No, I'm ready to go win a championship. Line them up and let's knock their asses down.
All right. 3 o'clock kickoff. What do you think of 3 o'clock? That's kind of
hell yeah, it's about time.
Different.
This damn night stuff's for young people. It's even affecting my love life, man. You gotta get it in early. By the time you get home, it's over. Everybody's tired.
And for those who don't know, that game against UT Martin, that's the only night game of the year. Every other game at Houck Stadium is an afternoon game.
So looking forward to 3 o'clock kick.
All right, and will the wheel be at Houck Stadium on Saturday?
The wheel goes on the wall. We are going to, I believe Tuesday, I think we're going to be able to put the brick up. We'll get 2 bricks, so this will be a brickyard victory for a top 25 opponent. And then on the wheel wall, we place a brick every time we win it. And so the 2024 team is leaving their legacy, and it's chapters 1, 2, 3, and 4 have been great. Their season will live on in Rosengarten, so excited for that to happen.
And under Coach Tuke, 4th time they've beaten a top 10 program in the country. Coach, we'll see you over at Houck Stadium on Saturday. Thanks so much for your time.
Sounds good.
All right. Coach Thama Tukowicz, thanks again to Tristan Smith. We appreciate him, and thanks to Rachel Cook here, our chief engineer on site, our entire team from River Radio. We'll get you back to regular programming here on ESPN. Hope you enjoy the rest of your Monday, everybody. So long from Wings, etc.